Oh man, you gotta come better than that, BYU. We didn't sign up for volleyball for that to happen. Welcome to Open Mic. We like to start the show with a few stories or a hot take on a story you're not likely to see anywhere else. I'm from gorgeous Prince George's, and now I'll spill the tea in DC. So you know these jokes come from a place of love at least 51% of the time. Let's start things off at the Smithsonian National Zoo, where their Brew at the Zoo event returns on September 8th, featuring food trucks, live music, and more than 40 breweries and cideries from around the DC region. If you've never said the word cideries, it is a lot of fun. There's more than 40 breweries and cideries, there it is again, in the region. I see what y'all were doing during the pandemic, during your free time. If you weren't giving it to plants to help them survive the drought, real ones who watched last week know all about that. This is what you were up to. This is all right. This event sounds like fun, as long as everybody, of course, knows their limitations. Those plants do not. Drunk people and wild animals are a combination that could easily go left. Tickets, by the way, are $50 for zoo members and $60 for non-members, and their sober driver tickets have already sold out. That is a shame. That sounds like good news for the people I just talked about who drank a little too much that night. Designated driver duties now include keep Mike away from the tiger enclosure, because DC doesn't need its own Harambe situation. You can let the Cincinnati Zoo continue to hold that L, although if you haven't seen some of the good Twitter work people have been doing with the Cincinnati Zoo and Harambe, make sure you look that up. Aside from worst case scenarios like that, this event looks fantastic and it's raising money for the zoo's conservation efforts. Let's head over to my new adopted home of Roslyn, Virginia. Shout out to them for this next story, where according to Metro General Manager Randy Clark, a man committed a theft, then ran through the subway tunnel from Virginia all the way to DC. That's how bad single tracking has gotten. You can't even rely on Metro as your getaway vehicle. Now, I'm joking about single tracking just in case Metro was watching. Service was actually shut down when all of this happened. Which is worse. Then you really can't rely on Metro as your getaway vehicle. The suspect allegedly ran from the Roslyn station all the way to Foggy Bottom, where he was arrested. I will say this, at least he did get some good cardio before they got him. He met his step goal on his Apple Watch before he had to put it in that filthy plastic bag that he wasn't going to see again until he was released. Metro hasn't released any other details regarding the suspect or what was in fact stolen, but the fact that he ran across state lines because the train was out of service is pretty wild. It's like the lame version of the Shawshank Redemption. Some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are much too bright. However, their getaway plans, not bright at all. Kill Mo. We really got to get some audio of Morgan Freeman saying kill Mo. Let's take a trip to Starbucks for this next story, where the pumpkin spice latte returns tomorrow, but this time with a higher price. I've never been excited for a high price. That's right, Karen. Starbucks is charging more for the taste of their world-famous gentrification in a cup. Starbucks is looking right at y'all like Fat Joe yelling, yesterday's price is not today's price. Turns out yesterday's price is roughly 4% higher than it was in 2021. That's today's price, rather. Now that pumpkin spice latte will cost you between $5.45 to $5.95, depending on the location. And you know what? If you're one of those that was trying to be nice and hit the $5.45, you have the Reese Waters permission to hit $5.95. You know what? Because they deserve it. That is a lot of money for a sugary cup of fall flavor. I doubt the price increase is even going to detract pumpkin spice latte enthusiasts, because they're already at Starbucks where nothing is cheap anyway, and they waited all year for pumpkin spice season to return. They've had plenty of time to save up for these. As for the rest of us, this is the perfect excuse to get out of ever having to buy pumpkin spice latte, as if any of us needed one. $5.45 to $5.95. I capped my coffee at 50 cents. I chose this last story because I love when cute animals go on a rampage. While serving, I love when animals do people things. While serving civil papers, a police officer in Madison County, Alabama, has his cruiser taken over by a couple of hungry goats who munched on paperwork and walked all over the vehicle. These ghosts tried to single-handedly defund the police, or maybe that was single-hoofedly. I don't know, that sounds more accurate. Was one of these ghosts expecting divorce papers? That's the only way this would make sense.
You ain't getting away from me that easily, Glenda. Let's work things out for the kids. It's cheaper to keep her. Did they use the black lips?
That was perfect. That was perfectly executed. I must say so myself. That was clean. Whatever the explanation is, this footage is absolutely gold. They make for some adorable little vandals. Thankfully, it doesn't look like they pooped in the officer's car. That would immediately change the entire tone of this story. He's calling his wife like, baby, you know how to make Carrie goat? Lord of mercy. Once again, no cute little animals were harmed in the making of this story. They lived happily ever after, and some lucky felons got their warrants digested so they can run the streets for another day. Probably through Rosalind. My favorite story? You know it's the goats. It's the only time destroying police property is universally considered cute and cuddly.